so that there's no. So in the last class, we began the discussion on what constitutes offense, what constitutes aparadh. Anyone would like to share what was Prabhupada's definition of what constitutes as offense? Anyone? Raise your hands. How did Prabhupada define what constitutes as an offense? How did Prabhupada define what constitutes as an offense? Anyone? Please raise your hands who would like to answer. I don't see anyone ready to answer. Many of you were there in the last class. What exactly constitutes an offense? I and me, mind, body, concept of. How does Prabhupada define what exactly is an offense? We discussed that quite in detail. I don't want the answers which you generally have. I want what Prabhupada discusses, what we discussed in the last class. Who will answer this? Anita Mataji, yes.
Inattentiveness.
But how does Prabhupada define that? That is what I want. If you in the last class, now what exactly he says is an offense? He very clearly makes, oh, this is an offense. What exactly is an offense? When do you say it is an offense? Anyone? Anyone else? Amit Kumar Agarwal. You were there in the last class, Roji? I have unmuted you, Amit. Bro. Please don't type again your answers. I have told you that's the norm. Don't use the chat box for typing. Use only the chat box if the audio is not working. Otherwise, never use the chat box. I think so. You can also actually. You can disable the chat box. Please raise your hands if you have to answer. Amit, where are you?
Yes, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Yes. Yes. What? How does Prabhupada define what exactly is an offense?
Inattentiveness.
And that's already answered, and I already answered to that.
Okay. Okay. 3 stages I know that you have taught: Nama Prada, Nam Bhasa, Suddha Nama. That.
Yeah, but what exactly constitutes Namaprad? How does Prabhupada define it? We went through a lot of discussion only on that one point in the last class. Bhavagrahi Janardhan Prabhuji, 1 second. One second. I am going to mute you all so that otherwise there will be. Yes, Bhavagrahi Janardhan Prabhuji, I have unmuted you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, chanting but not hearing is an offense.
How does Prabhupada exactly give that term? I want you all to understand this. We have gone through it quite in detail. I don't know, one entire class we spent on this one point. And yes, Rasika Ranjan Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, uh, if the mind wanders, then it's an offense. Prabhupada also quotes that thing. If the
But what exactly Prabhupada says? What exactly he says? You chant Hare Krishna and you hear also Hare Krishna. But then what he says? What does he say next? Please be seated in one place, when you're having this online discussion. What does he say? What does he say? Abhay Keshav Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat.
Yeah.
If we don't hear Hare Krishna, chanting, then we hear what mind tell. So
Yes.
we
Somehow you got
we
it.
hear
You
the voice
hear
of mind.
something else.
Yes,
You hear something else. You chant Hare Krishna, you should hear Hare Krishna only. But if you hear something else, that constitutes as an offense. That's how Prabhupada defines what exactly is an offense. So again, I'll come back to that discussion. You have to have this clear understanding. Yes. Okay. Okay. So this is in today's discussion. Yeah. Yeah. If our mind is acting also. Okay, that slide exactly, I don't have it here. Okay. So I hope it is clear to you all that when you hear something else, or if the mind is acting, that means you're conscious of the mind, you're not conscious of the holy name, then it constitutes as an offense. So you have to hear the sound very attentively, the Hare Krishna sound, and you should not hear anything else. So today's whole discussion is based on this point. So that's why I'm trying to bring out this. So now let me go to today's discussion and today's sutra. Uh, this is from Prabhupada's purport from the Bhagavatam. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Pravishta Karna Randarena Swana Bhava Saroruham. The process of hearing and chanting enters the core of the heart, and in this way, one becomes a pure devotee. So now, this hearing of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra has to enter the core of the heart. And only when it enters the core of the heart, then you become a pure devotee, Prabhupada says. If the mantra doesn't enter the heart, now heart here means the seat of consciousness, that is the Chetana, that is the soul. Heart can refer to the emotional heart, which is the mind, which is the storehouse of emotions, bhavanas. Heart can also refer to the physical heart, which is the heart which is pumping the blood, which has these four valves, sorry. And there is the heart, which is the seat of consciousness, that is the soul. So the mantra has to enter the heart, core of the heart. And then one becomes a pure devotee, Prabhupada says. And then when it enters the heart, please hear very attentively and try to understand and try to carefully think about this, otherwise you'll miss something. By continuing this process, that means the mantra is entering the heart and you continue to hear and the mantra starts entering the heart. One comes to the stage of transcendental love, which is called as bhava. And then he appreciates the transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and then, Nama, Guna, Rupa, Leela, all these start manifesting in the heart. In other words, a pure devotee by devotional service is able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead despite many material impediments, which are all various energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, when the mantra enters the heart and you continue to hear, then you'll come to the point of love of Godhead, and then there is Namegane Sadaruchi. That's what is the stage. And then you're a pure devotee, and you'll be actually able to see the Lord. You'll be actually able to have the darshan of the Lord. So at the stage of bhava, one of the qualities which Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Rup Goswami mentions in the verse itself, Sakshat Krishna Yogya Darshan, that he is Yogya, he is qualified to have darshan of Krishna, and Krishna gives darshan to such a Bhava Bhakta. So to come to this point, What is the most important to come to this point to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What is the most important thing? Let us see who has understood, who will answer. What is the most important thing? That you have to come to point where you can see the Lord. So for that, what you have to do? What is the most important thing? Which is itself discussed in that, quotations I gave. What is the most important thing? Abhay Keshav Prabhuji, yes.
Very important is hearing whatever is pronounced. If we attentively hear that, then that mantra will enter in our heart. Then Nama Rupa Lila
No,
Guna
see,
will.
you have to hear very attentively what we are discussing. Don't go out of context, out of the subject. Just now I have spoken something, and I know it. I don't like to actually conduct a workshop on Japa online, but many devotees wanted to have it, and we are having a workshop this coming December just to prepare them. I'm doing this workshop. So please, again, just see this slide and think about it. It's something which is not something out of your, box, out of the head you have to think. You have to become a pure devotee and then you can see the Lord. But to come to this point, Prabhupada is giving the steps here. So, my point is where it begins from, where it begins. Please don't type. I've been telling, I've been requesting, please don't type anything on the chat box. Otherwise, I'm going to be very strict from next time. I'm going to, exit them out from the Zoom group. I'm going to be very serious about this. If you're coming for a discussion, please come wholeheartedly and don't get distracted by yourself with typing, just here. So what is the answer? To see directly the Lord, what is the first step we need to do? It's very simple. It is there in that verse itself, which I've quoted. Prabhupada, this is speaking from the sixth canto purport, I feel. Who will answer this? And please keep your videos on. I would like to, I told you this session, at least Japa session, the video should be on so that we know that everyone is participating. Yes. Vraj Chandrika Mataji. Yes. Let us see. Yes, Vraj Chandrika Mataji. Yes.
We should hear and chant.
Mm, you should hear and chant. Okay. Please see the slides. And from this slide only, can you give me the answer?
We should continue the process of hearing and chanting.
Now, before you continue the process of hearing, what you have to do?
We chant and we hear.
Pardon?
We chant and we hear the mantra.
No, but what is Prabhupada writing? Why, why we are saying what to know? I really don't understand. It's not okay. Let's see. Meenakshi Mataji. Meenakshi Mataji had raised her hand. Yes. Uh, 1 minute. Yes, Meenakshi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. After hearing, the mantra enters in our heart and we become a pure devotee.
Prabhupada is saying that what you have heard, what you have vibrated the mantra, chanted, that hearing has to enter the heart. This is the first thing. If the mantra doesn't enter the heart, then there is no progress we do. And with this hearing of the mantra entering the heart, and you continue this process, then ultimately Nama Rupa Guna Leela, and then you become a pure devotee, and then you see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I hope everyone understood this point. If you have not understood this point, we cannot go ahead. If you have not understood, please raise your hand. The simple thing. Any questions you have about this? So this is Amit Kumar Prabhuji, you have any question? You have any question? Amit Kumar Prabhuji?
No question.
Oh, okay. There your hand was raised. Any questions? Did you understand the point what we are trying to make? Who will explain us? Raise your hands. Most. Who will explain this? Raise your hands. I'm taking time here because I want devotees to clearly understand this point. Abhay Keshav Prabhuji, yes. 1 minute, just let me. Where are you? Yeah,
Hare
you
Krishna
have to.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, when we chant attentively and we hear that mantra, then this mantra enter into the heart.
Mm.
After
No,
continuing this process,
yeah, okay, but keep
after
exactly proper statement. Try to keep proper statement as it is. Mm. You have to chant the mantra, and the hearing of the mantra should enter the core of the heart. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's keep like that. Okay, Vrachandrika Mataji. I want that devotee should understand this point, otherwise we can't go ahead without this. Yes.
The process of hearing and chanting should enter the core of our heart. And
Heart,
when we
heart.
continue this process, the devotee appreciates Nama Rupa Guna Leela, and then it continues.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Have everyone understood this point? Yes. Okay. So now our whole discussion today is how, this mantra is going to enter the heart. How we have to work on so that the mantra can enter the heart. That's our discussion for today. Okay. So let me share now the slides. Okay. 1 second. Uh, yes. Yes, so the slide is here. Okay. So we had discussed about this Namaparad. Again, I'm discussing this. You chant Hare Krishna and hear also Hare Krishna. This is the process. Not that you are chanting Hare Krishna mechanically, but you are hearing something else. And we discussed in the class, hearing something else means what? Raise your hand. Hearing something else means what? Bhavgraj Janardhan Pruji, you'll have to use the raise hand button, and if you want to raise your hands. Okay, two devotees have. Abhay Keshav Chandra Pruji, yes.
hearing something else means voice of mind, Prabhuji.
Hearing
After
something else
mind is
means?
acting,
Pardon?
voice of mind is acting.
Oh no, we are not able to get this simple point. Suvarna Mataji.
The same answer, Prabhuji. Mind is acting when mind is wandering somewhere.
No, I understand my question. Understand my question. Please try to understand. You chant Hare Krishna and you have to only hear Hare Krishna. You hear something else. Now, what you hear something else, where is this voice coming from? Where is this voice coming
From
from?
the mind,
You hear,
Prabhuji.
who answered this? Yeah, okay, yes. You hear the mind's voice, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So when you hear the mind's voice, you have heard it. That means you have not heard the mantra. That means you are committed a offense. Are you getting this point? Is this point clear? Hmm? Now, we are going to go a lot into this discussion about hearing the voices of the mind. So if you are chanting Hare Krishna mechanically, but you are hearing something else, you hear the mind's voice, right? That is inattention, that is offense. It will take some time. If you chant offensively, then it will take some time. Prabhupada twice is saying it is going to take some time. This is Srila Prabhupada from the Bhagavad Gita 4:26-30. Okay, now we did this Japa exercise also. Now I am going to just use the uh, drawing board here, and yes, this is the soul. This is the seat of consciousness. It is called as chitta. And this is our subtle body. This is mind, intelligence, false ego. If you want, you can note down with your notepad and a pen, subtle body. Sorry, my handwriting is very bad. I'm not so much familiar to use this. So it is taking me some time still to adjust with this whole way of functioning. But I know it's very helpful. And this is our gross body. Yeah, this is better. Okay. So, there is the ear in the gross body. Now, I'm not such a good, you know, person who can draw. And this is the soul, the seat of consciousness. Now, the mantra which is vibrated from the tongue has to enter the ear and enter the core of the heart, Prabhupada says, right? So, but in between is the mind. You might hear the mind's voice, correct? Now, my question to all of you, please again try to understand. My question to all of you is, mind's voice we hear, we agree. Yes, we hear the mind's voice. Now, how many different divisions of mind's voices do you hear? At least you are all familiar. You're all chanting Hare Krishna. You hear some voices of the mind. What are these mind voices which we hear? Can someone describe them? Someone reveal? What are the mind voices you might hear while chanting Hare Krishna? And how many divisions are there? Let us see who will also answer this. Okay. Amit Agarwal Prabhuji, yes.
Yes, Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm very clearly I'm able to hear you.
Yeah, Prabhuji, actually, whatever we do throughout the day, that disturbs the mind. While chanting, all those thoughts comes into mind. What
Yeah.
we, if something went wrong with someone, then it comes to mind. If something good
Yeah,
happened
see,
with
I
any,
don't want a generic answer. What are the voices you generally hear? What are the voices you might hear? Like to-do list, yes, what as you mentioned is okay. But I want something specific. What you hear sometimes. What do you hear?
whatever interaction we are having with others, that we are recalling at the time of chanting. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
your thoughts are coming, but I want to, you know, try to go a little more deeper and try to understand what are the different voices of the mind we hear. What are the different voices of the mind we hear? Abhay Gaurang Prabhuji, Abhay Gaur Chandra Prabhuji from Pokhara,
Hare
Nepal.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Can you hear me, Prabhuji?
What are the voices you hear?
Voice we hear either from the past or usually of the future.
I want something specific, I don't want a general answer. I want something specific. What kind of voices do you hear? Something you see in your regular pattern. What kind of voices do you hear?
which is not helpful, Prabhuji.
Every day you encounter all this. Every day we are facing this, Govind Nandini Mataji. Yes.
Prabhuji, the incomplete task which we want to complete.
The to-do list you want to hear. Okay. These are again general. I want to know. Minakshi Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hmm.
Suppose if I had any controversy with any devotee, that controversial conversation going on, I heard that. So I felt very bad. Last week I attended the class and I say that, oh, it's an offense. You still just stop. I told my mind.
Okay, so these are usually between the past and future and all the emotions which are happening. That is what. Okay, I will now. I got that, I got that, our understanding how it is. Okay. Now, basically, if I hear the voice, I am hungry. I'm chanting Hare Krishna and I say that, I hear the voice, I'm hungry, give me some food. So which voice is this of the mind? Among there are different divisions of voices I mentioned. What voice is this of the mind? We have the Pancha Kosh, There is Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Manomaya, then Vijnanamaya, then Anandamaya. And there are layers which are covering the soul. There are layers which are. So which voice is this? Rasik Ranjan Prabhuji. Rasik Ranjan Prabhuji. Let me unmute you. Yeah.
It's more of unknowable, means like hankering.
Yeah. But which layer of the body is speaking the mind's voice now? Which layer it is?
On the bodily level, it means
Yeah,
on.
but what is that layer name? When you are asking for food, what is this? Our body is made of what? In Bhagavad
Okay.
Gita,
Of the
what is
Panch
it? Bhumir, Apo, Analo, Vayu,
Bhumiropan,
Kapala. Huh?
Mano, Viraj. Our
Which
five
layer?
sense, our senses and the subtle.
Yeah, Baba, when you feel your body is hungry, what it is? Which layer of the earth, which layer of the body is asking for voice it is?
Mm,
Amal Bhakti Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Annamay?
Annamaya, yes. This is one way. The
Yeah.
body is made of what? Pancha Mahabhut, right?
Yes.
Now, which layer voice it is? Which uh, which element, I mean.
Mm.
We have never heard our mind's voices and never analyzed them, I think. Ashok Atma Prabhuji, you can please on your video. Yeah.
Prabhu, this is the Bhumi,
Which element?
Bhumi upon
Earth
Alo,
element. Yeah, simple thing. It is the earth element.
Earth element.
So let me draw here now. So there are, sorry, yeah. I'm not at all good with this. Okay, let me use another this. Yeah. So this is the year, and you have, okay, it's not coming. This is the earth element. I am hungry. So this is one desire, but it can be multiplied into 1 million. Because you can be hungry for gulab jamun, rasgulla, rasmalai, unlimited. And then there is another layer. The next layer is what? There is the water layer. I want juice, or I want cold water, I want mango juice, I want, pani puri juice. So like that, this is the second voice of the mind. This is the second voice of the mind. This is the first voice. And then there is the third layer. Earth, water, what? Fire. There is the air, and then there is the ether. You hear different sounds, the bird chirping. So these are the 5 layers of voices, which are all gross, but from gross to subtle. Apart from this, there are the 5 Gyanindriyas and the 5 Karmindriyas. So the Gyanindriyas are, the senses are attracted to sense objects. And there is a battle happening, the senses are going to the sense objects and the mind is going between passion and ignorance. So we are battling with the senses, and the karmendriyas or the mind's voice might say, why are you sitting and chanting? Walk and chant. So this walk and chant, when the mind says, uh, which voice of the mind is, being you are hearing, which voice it is of the karmendriya, among which voice it is. I want you all to identify these voices first of all. Raise your hands. Which voice is this? Which voice is this? Anyone who has raised his hand? Which voice is this, Bir Krish Prabhuji?
It's a Karmendriya voice book.
Karmendriya, but there are how many Karmendriyas, Prabhuji?
Like now it's a voice for legs now.
I want
Legs
you all to
want
be
to.
specific.
Yeah.
So I know one devotee. I'm just taking it an example just to show it to you all, and don't take it otherwise. I have observed in many years, maybe for the past 20 years. He comes in the morning, comes to sit japa, and after exactly 4 rounds, his mind voice Karmendra speaks. You can't sit and chant now. Please go walk and chant. And after 4 rounds, he's walking and chanting. And to hear the mantra is very difficult. Japa means we spoke, dhyan means to sit in dhyan and absorb yourself in hearing the mantra. So, you know, uh, so this voice he hears, the mind, is programmed. After 4 rounds, the mind will tell the voice, please walk and chant. And immediately you'll obey it and you'll go walk and start chanting. So this is the Karamendriya voice. So there are these 16 divisions of voices. The first 5 layers, Panch Mahabhut, the 5 Karmendriyas, the 5 Gyanendriyas, and the 16th one is the mind. I am tired, or, the mind's voice. So the mantra, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, has to penetrate all these layers, penetrate even the mind and enter the heart. That's what Prabhupada is speaking. It has to enter the heart. And when it enters the heart, then actually all these voices are actually our vasanas here in the subtle body. They are the vasanas, impressions, desires. So the Lord, seeing that you are putting your heart into your chanting, the Lord who is now the super soul, he will cleanse this. Sorry. He will cleanse this subtle body with all these impressions. And then that means you have penetrated all these layers and the mantra has now entered the heart. And then with this kind of a process, what happens? You start make advancement. That means you should be able to cross all these barriers, these 16 layers you have to cross. And when you cross all these 16 layers, then we are able to hear the mantra attentively. Now, my point in explaining all this, please forgive me for this very, very bad diagram here. Somehow I'll try to improve on this. That my point here is that actually, as I'm mentioning, this is the soul, and this is the subtle body, and this is the gross body. And these 5 layers I was speaking, the Panch Mahabhut, this is the mantra which is entering. Actually, it doesn't even penetrate the first 3 layers. It gets blocked there only, because who will speak? When it starts penetrating these layers, who will speak? Who will speak? Raise your hands. Who will speak? When it starts penetrating the first 3 layers only, who will speak? Anyone? Bir Krish Prabhu has attended this workshop live, means on site also 3 times. So he's well versed with the topic. I would like the other devotees to speak. When you start penetrating these layers, because the layer of the earth, when you start hearing, the first layer is there, second layer, and mantra is trying to go deeper into the heart, but mind's voice will speak. So which layer will speak? Anyone? Anyone? Yes, Govinda Nandini Mataji. I want you all to think. I know I'm putting you all in difficulty in asking these kind of questions, but yes, Govinda Nandini Mataji. Yes.
Panchama
Yes, the Pancha Mahabhut, the first Annamaya Kosh layers only. We can't even transcend the Annamaya level Kosh layers. We just can't transcend them. We are in the bodily consciousness and we are conscious of the body. The body is paining, their stomach trouble, or I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. But actually, if you're chanting Hare Krishna and you're thirsty and you're actually hearing the mantra, and the mantra is entering the heart, the soul is getting nourished, you'll not feel thirsty also. Hours might have passed. You'll not be conscious of the body requires, little water. But we are blocked in these first few layers only. So in our japa exercises, we will be doing that next time. We will be speaking about how to actually, uh, transcend these Annamaya Kosh. Annamaya Kosh. By bodily posture, which Prabhupada speaks a lot. By bodily posture, and especially these earth and ether, air and ether, which are more subtle, okay, ether spelling is wrong. Forgive me for that. What's happening? Earth and ether. This we can do by proper breathing techniques, which also Prabhupada speaks. This again we will be introducing in our next workshop. Okay. So bodily posture and breathing techniques. If you're able to do this, if you're able to, work on the bodily postures over a period of years, I'm quite serious about it, and I'm telling you, if you work on the bodily posture, sitting, in proper posture and trying to attentively hear the mantra, you'll be able to penetrate these layers. You'll be able to penetrate these layers, three layers, and the mantra will go deeper. And even to do this, it will take, I don't know why it doesn't select. It will take at least few years. It will take few years. I don't know why. I have to understand how this works. And even these two layers, it will take few years. And Prabhupada is telling here in his this, it will take some time, it will take some time. And that sometime is many, many years. Prabhupada says that to cross Dhammapada, it takes sometimes 30 years. But we need to work on it. So that's why we will be discussing in our next class the bodily posture so that we can penetrate few layers. If you try to sit attentively, sit in a proper posture, the mantra will penetrate deeper. And with proper breathing exercises, the mantra will be able to penetrate deeper. So that ultimately our goal is to, enter the mantra should enter the heart. It should enter the heart. So slowly, slowly, we have to penetrate these layers. Of course, by Bhagwan's mercy, when we are, when the Lord is merciful and shows anugrah and we are very receptive, he can suddenly, you know, he can remove these layers and suddenly you can hear the mantra directly entering the heart. You can hear the mantra directly going to the heart. It can happen. And that's what we experience sometimes when we go to dhams, when we are in some festivals, and we might experience an ecstasy which is not of this world. Yes or no? Everyone has this experience? Yes or no? Yes. So that's when, that the river Jordan, gives its way, or the river Yamuna gave way to Vasudev, and he was able to, you know, he is able to cross. So that's what, can happen. Of course, it is by mercy. But that mercy also comes with endeavor when we put in efforts to hear the mantra attentively. So now what I am going to show you in the slides is now the whole discussion which we are going to have. Sorry for the delay because I wanted to go slowly, systematically. How Narad Muni, when he hears his mantra, enters the heart directly. And the Lord appears in the heart and he is able to see the Lord. So this is there in the first canto, 6th chapter, verse 33. प्राघायत स्ववीर्याणि तीर्थपादः प्रियश्रवा आहुत इव मे शीघ्रं दर्शनं याति चेतसि. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, whose glories and activities are pleasing to the hearer, Priya Shrava, at once appears. Ahuta iva me shigram, immediately appears on the seat of my heart. Because Narad Muni is on the platform which this verse was speaking here in the beginning, which we discussed. He is on this platform. He has done this work and he has continued this. And then he has, he's on this platform. That's why he's able to see the Lord immediately. Appears on the seat of merit as if called for. Ahutva, as soon as they begin to chant the holy name, his holy activities. Pragayata Swaviryani. Okay, let's see the purport. The absolute personality of Godhead is not different from his transcendental name, fame, for pastimes, and the sound vibration thereof. And we know when we'll realize this. Prabhupada spoke in that first paragraph we saw. As soon as a pure devotee engages himself in pure devotional service of hearing and chanting and remembers the name, fame, and activities of the Lord, at once he becomes visible to the transcendental eye of the pure devotee by reflecting himself on the mirror of the heart by spiritual television. So for him, Chaito Darpan Marjanam has happened. This Chaito Darpan Marjan has happened, all the impressions are gone, and now in the soul's eyes, the Lord is there and he becomes visible to him. He becomes visible to him. Therefore, a pure devotee who is related with the Lord in loving transcendental service can experience the presence of the Lord at every moment. It is a natural psychology in every individual case that a person likes to hear and enjoy his personal glories enumerated by others. Now, all of you are sitting here. I'm able to see you all online. And suppose somebody is there and they are speaking about you, especially something bad about you, your ears will immediately go there. People like to hear their own glories or their criticism. Right? So the Lord also likes to hear his glories. Lord also likes to hear his glories. That natural psychology is there in the Lord. This is a natural instinct, and the Lord, being also an individual personality like others, is not an exception to the psychology, because psychological characteristics visible in the individual souls are but reflections of the same psychology in the absolute Lord. The only difference is that the Lord is the greatest personality of all and absolute in his affairs. So if we like to hear somebody speaking about our glories, we like to hear that, you know, and somebody starts criticizing, we start disliking it. You know, so the only difference is, he's absolute. He likes to hear because that is beneficial for the devotee. If therefore the Lord is attracted by the pure devotee's chanting of his glories, there is nothing astonishing. Since he is absolute, he can appear himself in the picture of his glorification, and the two things being identical. Shri Narad chants the glorification of the Lord not for his personal benefit, but because the glorifications are identical with the Lord. Naramuni penetrates into the presence of the Lord by the transcendental chanting. So this is our goal. Now, I'm just going to now present this, how Prabhupada presents it. This is our prayojan. When one becomes a devotee beginning from tongue, Jivado, by chanting Hare Krishna, Sivan Mukhe Jivado, Swayam Eva Spuritada, Krishna manifest. But when the mantra enters the core of the heart, and by that continuous chanting like this, and we start taking pleasure in chanting the name, fame, and glories of the Lord, and when we are able to see the Lord, then when Chaito Darpan Marjanam completely happens, then the Lord manifests. He becomes revealed. Ye Naam, say Krishna. That is the perfection of chanting without any offenses. So if among these 16 layers, even if you are conscious that your mind is acting, you are committing offense. Please understand this. So you have to transcend all these layers. Transcending the layer of the mind is the most difficult. But let's work on the first 5 layers. And if you achieve mastery over it, you'll become a very advanced devotee. You'll at least become quite steady in your spiritual practices, and you'll start at least relishing a little bit, you know, chanting as a sadhana. Then you will find the name is non-different from Krishna. When you're chanting, you'll find Krishna is dancing on your tongue. This is the conclusion. Jivado. So we have to learn how to chant. Therefore, in the Shastras, in the Puranas, the 10 kinds of offenses are described, and Sri Jiva Goswami is given very much stress to avoid these offenses. Shuddhanam. In the beginning, we cannot chant pure form of name because we are accustomed. But still, by chanting process, then it becomes Namabhas, almost pure. Abhas means just like before sunrise, you find the darkness is off, but it is still not sunlight. It is a different from sunlight, but still there is dawn. You can see everything distinctly. Similarly, first there is offensive name, and if you avoid the 10 kinds of offenses, then gradually it becomes Namabhas. Please remember, if you avoid the 10 offenses, Namabhas, gradually you will come to the Namabhas platform. And Srila Haridas Thakur has said, Namacharya, that by Namabhas one becomes liberated. There was some argument with Haridas Thakur and one Brahmana in the office of Raghunath Das Goswami's father, uncle. So there were some high level talks on this Namabas. So please remember, Namabas is a very high level of discussion. So by Namabas, one becomes liberated. By chanting Hare Krishna mantra offensive, one becomes materially happy or distressed. But when one comes to the stage of Namabas, he becomes liberated. And when he chants pure name, there is Krishna praying. Just like Rupa Goswami, he's chanting, we are also chanting. But we are not in the stage of Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur. Actually, if we come to that stage, then there will be Krishna Prem, love of Krishna. But we cannot finish even 16 rounds because we have not created our taste for chanting. Just like Rupa Goswami said that, when shall I chant with one tongue and 2 ears? If there were millions of tongues and trillions of ears, I could chant something. So how many of us feel that when we chant our 16 rounds, why only 16 rounds? Why can't I chant 16,000 rounds? How many of us feel? Raise your hands. How many of us feel? How many of us feel like that? That is the effect of the mantra which is entering the heart, and it is producing such ecstasy that you just don't want to stop. That is Shuddhana. At least how many of us feel that after sitting and chanting 16 rounds in one stretch, please remember, one stretch, 16 rounds, 2.5 hours, whatever it is, we feel, let me sit and chant another 16 rounds. How many of us feel like that? Raise your hands. Genuinely, we feel like that. Okay, at least one hand has been raised. Okay. So that is, that is where we need to work on. And if you work on the bodily posture and the breathing, we'll come to that point. At least, we want to chant more. Still, we are in the Namaprad stage. But don't be disappointed. Go on chanting. You will come to the right position, Namabas, then Shuddhanam. Everything requires gradual development. So there's a gradual development of penetrating these layers, 16 layers multiplied by a million. There are unlimited voices of the mind. And all these voices you should not hear, and you should hear only the name. To come to that point, we'll have to ultimately work on the first two layers, I feel. If you work on the first two layers, then you have done tremendous progress in your practice of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada on the 10 offenses. The purification of the chanting Hare Nama means that as soon as you chant the holy name of Krishna, immediately you will see the form of Krishna. So you see what Prabhupada is saying. You chant Shuddhanam, that means you see Krishna. You will realize the qualities of Krishna. You will immediately remember the pastimes of Krishna. That is pure chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. That is commented by Srila Jiva Goswami, that a pure devotee who chants Hare Krishna mantra, immediately all these Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Parikar, Vashishta. Simply by chanting name, you will feel the form of Krishna. Here is Krishna, Nama, Rupa, Guna. Here are the qualities. Oh, Krishna is so qualified. He is so kind. He is so magnanimous. So many qualities you will remember. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. These things will be remembered. This is factual perfection of chanting. One should know that the offenseless chanting means remembering the form. Therefore, chanting is so easy and sublime. One who is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, if he is offenseless, he will remember Krishna's form, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's entourage. The whole thing will be remembered, and that will make him liberated. Offenseless chanting means liberated. There, we should therefore be very much careful not to commit offenses. Then we remain always, so long as we chant Krishna, Hare Krishna mantra, you will remain liberated. Srila Prabhupada on the Ajamil Srimad Bhagavatam 6 to 11. So today we are going to only discuss one sutra. Of course, these layers, as I mentioned, this is a very heart of the whole discussion of Japa. In one class, we will speak about the gross layers, earth, water, fire, and the subtle layers, one more class. But today, We know now what is our goal when we chant. What is our goal? Let us see. Raise your hands. What is our goal when we chant? Where should the... Yes, Ras Viharani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It should enter the heart.
Yes, the mantra should enter the heart. That's the goal. We should remember. So now, don't be disappointed. We have a sutra by which we can, I know penetrating these layers, transcending the Annamay level, Pranamay level, Manomay level is a very, very Herculean task which takes many, many years and very meticulous and, sincere sadhana. But there is one sutra which we discuss in our Harinam Chintamani Pramad seminar, that when your heart is open, the mind is closed, and when your mind is open, the heart is closed. So what does this mean? That we all have some attraction in Krishna consciousness. We are attracted to one particular deity. We have seen many deities in ISKCON, Radha Madhav, Radha Sham Sundar, Radha Gopinath, Radha Vrindavan Chandra. So any deity which naturally attracts your heart, you know. So those pictures you can keep in the front and you can chant for their pleasure. So you keep your heart open to chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra so that the mind, these layer, the last layer is the mind. The mind is the real thing, but mind has again many, many gross voices, subtle voices. There is the earth voice, there is the fire voice, there is the air voice, there is the ether voice, and then there are the senses voices, the five Gyanindriya senses, the five Karmindriya voices. All these voices are there of the mind. So to calm them, just open your heart to whichever deities your attraction is. That is your Ishtadev. And keep those pictures and, take some deep breathing, inhaling, exhaling, and chant for their pleasure, not to complete your rounds. Chant for their pleasure. And just by doing this one thing, you will start experiencing, at least you will be able to break some of the, layers, penetrate some of the layers. So open your heart to chanting. See which deities your heart is attracted to. Make a nice, beautiful frame. Keep it at a height which is at the same level of your eyes. Not that you see down the frame. No, you keep it on a table or on a showcase, wherever it is, where you sit in your home to chant, and you have to look a little up, not down at all, not straight also, a little up, just 5 degrees up. And then just seeing those pictures for their pleasure, you chant. So when the heart is open, the mind is closed. And when the mind is open, the heart is closed. So this is the sutra. So I'll just discuss this sutra and we'll end this discussion. I'll take the questions. Mechanical chanting means we are in our mind, not in our heart. This is mechanical chanting. The mind is, to do things. Why did she say like that? Why did he shout at me? All this. When we go to our heart, we get out of our mind. When we dwell in our mind, our thoughts of ourselves and our lives, the heart closes. Prabhupada didn't advise that we battle with our minds when we chant. Rather, he said, chant and hear. You chant with your tongue and hear with your ears. There is no question of the mind. As we advance in our chanting, Krishna's form, qualities, and pastimes come to our mind and vision, but not the material mind, the mind that distracts us from proper chanting. So, we all know in the Mat Chitta Matgata Prana, Prabhupada speaks, Mat Chitta means the devotees have given their heart to Krishna. Machitta, Matgata Prana, and they cannot live without discussing about Krishna. Bodhayanta Parasparam. So that's why they discuss about Krishna always. Katashante Manityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. So in that purport to the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada from Baldev Vidyabhushan, purport also speaks about how, I'm just sharing that in the screen. Prabhupada speaks about, thus the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literature, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. So the young boy, his heart is given to the girl. So his heart is open, mind is closed. So he forgets to go to office also, because his heart is absorbed in the beauty of the beloved and the sweet talk of the beloved. So his heart is open, mind is closed. He forgets all his to-do list. So exactly the same principle we should apply when we chant using this sutra, which I discussed. So our heart should be open to the beautiful deities of Radha and Krishna so that the mind doesn't give us trouble in our chanting. So please apply this principle in your chanting, and we'll discuss this more about these different voices of the mind and how to penetrate these layers through postures, which we will discuss in the next class. The posture will be the next class, and then through breathing will be the next class. Okay. So the forum is open for questions. Any questions anyone has, please raise your hands. Meenakshini Mataji has a question. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You were
Yes.
saying that we have to offer our chanting to Krishna. So that time,
Pardon?
I
Can
have
you
to.
speak a little loudly, please?
Okay. Prabhuji, when we chant, we are offering our chanting as a gift to Krishna. That I'm chanting for your pleasure.
Yes.
We have to. Is it a mood, or we have to say to our mind that I'm chanting, I'm offering this to for your pleasure? Like that, I have to think, or how should we chant?
No, first of all, we have to have a very clear conception. When we do activities of bhakti, the very act of bhakti itself is an offering. It's not like karma. Karma is called as karma arpanam. Karma arpanam means I do, like I like pizza. So I make pizza because I have a desire to eat pizza. And after preparing it, I offer it. This is what is called as karma arpanam. But Krishna, like Shak, I am doing it for his pleasure. So I do that act of cutting the vegetable, cooking the Shak. So all that act is not karma, it is bhakti, because we are doing it out of, for the pleasure of Krishna. So I sit in before the pictures of Radha and Krishna and I'm chanting for their pleasure. So there is no question of offering it. Please understand this. This is very subtle. In the definition of pure devotional service, this all comes. It's very, very subtle conception. It's not that I do my japa and say, I'm offering this to Krishna. No, the very act of japa is an act of, loving devotion. Basically, what I'm trying to explain is that while chanting, don't be in the mood of, I have to complete my rounds. I have to complete my receiver mood. Be in the receiver mode that I am doing this for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna is sitting in front of me. They like this. They like to hear doing it for them. And then ultimately, slowly, we will start also experiencing, bliss in chanting. Actually, the secret of happiness is that, we think that if I gratify my senses, Atmendriya Priti calm, then I'll be happy. But when we gratify Krishna's senses, Krishnendra Priti Dhare Premanam, when we gratify Krishna's senses, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, when Krishna is satisfied, we are satisfied. So when we chant for Krishna's pleasure, automatically the soul will start experiencing pleasure. Enatma suprasidhati. Are you clear? Is it clear, Mataji? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Time is up, but still I would like to take questions on this discussion, what we had today about this concept of this mind's voices, different voices of the mind, and the sutra, which we discussed, how we should begin at least every day. Please try to recite this sutra and try to keep this picture, whichever deities you are attracted to now, and then you chant for their pleasure, and you will see the mind will quiet down and it will have a tremendous impact in your chanting. Abhay Gaurang, Abhay Gaurchand Prabhuji, yes.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Why we are not so become careful in
No,
that
can you
our
speak
mind
a
is
little clearly and little loudly, please?
aware of that mind voice. Like once we start chanting 20, 30 beats and it will go on, we keep on hearing the mind voice and we don't
No,
become
no, no,
so
no,
much.
no. I'm not able to hear clearly. What you do is you record your question on the WhatsApp and send me. I will answer it in the group. No, it's not, I'm not able to clearly. Any other questions anyone else has about today's discussion? Any other questions? Please use the raise hand button, which is there in the. Any other questions you have about today's discussion? No? Okay. So thank you very, very much. So next time we will please work on this tomorrow. Tomorrow is Ekadasi, and especially a very special Ekadasi, this is Ashad Ekadashi. The Lord is incarnates on Ekadasi. He's a day incarnation, it is called. So the Lord's mercy flows so that all these layers can, completely, they move away and the mantra can enter the heart and we can experience the true pleasure of chanting. Let's pray for that. Okay. So thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Harinam Chintamani ki jai. Shri Nam Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.